أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربنا إنك تعلم ما نخفي وما نعلن وما يخفى على الله من شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء. الحمد لله الذي وهب لي على الكبر إسماعيل وإسحاق إن ربي لسميع الدعاء. الحمد لله الذي وهب لي على الكبر إسماعيل وإسحاق إن ربي لسميع الدعاء. رب اجعلني مقيم الصلاة ومن ذريتي ربنا وتقبل دعائي ربنا اغفر لي رب اجعلني مقيم الصلاة ومن ذريتي ربنا وتقبل دعاء ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب. ربنا وتقبل دعائي ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب. وللمؤمنين
Sadaqallah al-Azim, Jazakallah, bahut shukriya. Thank you so much, Qari Muhammad FAROOQ al-AZHARI sahab, for the wonderful recitation. And for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, and a very warm welcome to Ramzan, Pakistan. I happen to be Shahzad Khan, and with me, I'm really lucky that I've been joined by Hajra Satti. Today happens to be the 3rd of Ramazan, 1446 Hijri. Qala Rabbi Shrah li Sadri wa Yassir li Amri Ullal Uqtatam bil Lisani Yafqahu Qawli Rabbi Ighfirli Warham wa Anta Khairur Rahimin. And to get started, first things first. Hello Hajra, Assalamu alaikum. How are you feeling today?
Walaikum assalam. Ramazan Mubarak to you and Ramazan Mubarak to our entire viewers, to entire Ummah who are observing their fast. Certainly, this is the very blessed month where you can actually feel the difference in the air, the altruistic spirit, the sacredness that is so visible, and you can gauge that from the environment, from the dastarkhwans that they are laid, how people are going and helping out, the charity and in the entire thing that is happening. And I think the circulation of the goodness that is in the air is certainly something, but obviously we will delve into it. I would first like to introduce my very worthy guest. We are very glad that we have been joined by an academician, a scholar. He also flexes his muscle in the academia, and he's also very affiliated with the justice, with the field of law and justice. We are very glad that we have been joined by Professor Dr. ASLAM Khaki Sahab. Assalamu alaikum, sir, and thank you so much for coming to our show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Ramadan Mubarak to you, sir.
Same to you.
Right.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us.
And thank you so much.
Thank
It's
you for
wonderful,
having
and I
me
think
here.
we would like to kickstart our conversation, and we would like to quote a certain verse from the Quran.
Exactly.
And we always say that Quran is Furqan. It is the differentiator of the good and of the both. So it has a personality to it. The book are the unaltered words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in Surah Baqarah, ayat number 185, Allah ta'ala says, the month of the Ramazan is the one in which Quran was revealed. It is a guidance for the people and the clear proof. Like we said, it is Furqan and guidance of the proof and the criteria. So whoever cites the new moon of the month, let him fast, and whoever is ill or is on the journey, then an equal number on the other days. Allah intends for you the ease and does not intend for you hardship. Subhanallah.
Wow.
And wants for you complete period and to glorify Allah Ta'ala, in which He has guided you, and perhaps you will be grateful. And I think this is the beauty of Islam, Shahzad. I again and again says that Quran, Islam is based on the timeless magnificence of the fitrah. Allah Ta'ala always says that I want to bring ease in your life so that we can glorify Allah. And I think one of the things that I've seen, and it's not just a present day phenomena, is that we have made the deen so difficult to observe. There are so many ease and plenty of obedience in that particular deen of Islam. I think we need to revert back to a prophetic era, the prophetic age, and we want to go back to the Holy Prophet Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he was rahmatul lil alameen. He was made the mercy and compassion. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I always pray, brings us back to His own original self, through His compassion, through His mercy, not based on our own deeds.
Exactly. And Haja, in addition to this, where we have actually kind of given this notion that how Allah actually wants us to be at ease, rather than going through hardships. Now, imagine that there was this true realization which actually came to me today while we were thinking that, the topic that we will be discussing with Professor Dr. ASLAM Khaki Sahab is actually the intersection of faith, daily life, living Ramadan in modern world. Now imagine that as soon as I went back home after our morning transmission, I was like, that we have been so busy with our lives that, traveling, doing work and whatnot, and there's so much of worldly greed in us, unfortunately, I think each and every one of us, that we tend to...
And system encourages that,
and then we tend to forget that whatever righteousness we have within us, which we were practicing, which we weren't when busy, now all of a sudden there was this realization that, this is that time that I need to connect. And I was thankful to Allah Almighty that तीसरे रोजे पे मुझे ये realization आपने तोहफे में दे दी है. And which is why I was like, may it be social media, may it be anywhere, you go outside, what happens is that for all of those religious ethos that you carry, with yourself, कि इससे Allah खुश होगा, the taqwa, being that one gentleman who actually represents their religion as Muslim was actually being forgotten. And I was like, oh my God, I need to connect with those values.
I think you've highlighted a very, very important point, and I like plenty of Muslims face that, and that is the cacophony of this world, the noises, the distraction that are present that disconnects us from our original fitrah. So, ASLAM Khaki Sahab, we would like your opinion, your rumination. What do you have to say? In this modern era, it is very difficult. We are living in a Muslim majority society. We do approach Islam with the sanctity that it deserves. others. But I think there's always certain hint of, it's a religion, you need to hold back. It might not be very progressive, very modern. I think there is certain hint to it, right? How do we reconcile this notion that Islam is a timeless magnificence that it holds within it?
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In our daily life, if you see that the man is running and fast in search of his livelihood, in search of his, you can say, different activities, taking the status and all that. And he does not see backward that where I am or where I have to go, but just he is running and running. So Ramadan is a barrier. Here you have to stop after your 11 months doing everything at your own, according to your wishes and according to your own goals. Here then it stops you. And before Ramadan, you say that there are a few days of Shaban, which are practice for facing and going on over to the Ramadan. And this Shaban, these fasts and all these things are a practice, as I say, that these are the net practice for the actual cricket match when we say. If
I think that's a very hot subject for Shahzad. He does not want to hear the name of cricket.
Or even for that, any wrestling. So it is, it is the wrestling against Satan.
Right.
That we have to wrestle against the Satan, so we have to make practice of that.
But Aslam Khaki Sahab, I've seen this in a lot of Muslims, right? A younger generation, because we want them to practice Islam. They are the future of a generation, of the country, of the entire Muslim Ummah. That is that they're feeling certain loneliness, right?
Yeah.
And this is a pandemic, there is an epidemic, and every other person is going through it, right? So Ramadan is a month that focuses us, or forces us to think inwards, right? To reflect back, to ponder. And muhasabah is one of the very essential tenet of Islam, right? Accountability, and then fiqh or tafakkur, right? So how do you think that these modern kids could, the spiritual void that they feel, they can, remedy that fallacy that they're feeling, and that too in the month of Ramadan?
Yeah. Because my field is also a psychology, moral psychology. So there was Eric Fromm, a psychologist. She suggested that the man has gone away from the life, practical life, in the name of freedom. So he wrote a book which is called Escape from Freedom.
Okay.
So she proved it that the man does not basically want freedom. He wants to escape from freedom. He wants to remain interconnected with the people, humanitarian, you can say, intervention. He likes it. He says that the problem of this solitude and all that issues, mental depression, is that we have been cut from our parents. We said, oh, we are free, the youth is free, they can do anything. Or the same case is with the teacher relationship, not only in the class, not outside. So all these relations have been disconnected by the youth. So he has become loneliness, practical loneliness.
Absolutely.
He does not share the thing with the people.
And I think, sir, it's in our part of the world as well, where, tu munda hai, tu kisi nu gal nahi karni. Imagine that these kind of notions are actually kind of more of a burden rather than being a man.
Even when we were in our mahalla, if we are doing something wrong, the buzurg of that mahalla just corrected us, and he could even just beat us. And our parents would never mind it, rather they would appreciate that you have put him in reform.
Right.
So this is what he wrote it, and he said, and as there is a song, they said, कैद मांगी थी रिहाई तो नहीं मांगी थी. So practically, psychologically, insan, the man wants to remain connected with the people, not the freedom that he does not. So that is the
right. And I think you brought us such a wonderful point, and that is that in Islam, subjection of Allah, right? We are all the subjects of Allah. We are Abdullah, right? We are the slaves of Allah. And in that slavery, you find the emancipation, you find the liberation, the empowerment, which are the buzzwords of this modern enlightenment century, right? But again, you mentioned that people are, randomly, without any divine restrictions, moving away, running after these liberties. What happens to all of the promises that those liberties made us? Happiness still eludes us. Where do you think fault lies? Why are people not realizing that, they're becoming really far away from their fitrah, from Allah Ta'ala?
No, I can see that due to these trainings, which now even the youth is coming back from, because everything has a climax and they come down.
Absolutely.
So I see that even the now youth is coming to the real Islam, because we have distorted Islam in the name of our sectarian differences and all that, just leaving no space for the young people to live. So if we balance the things, then the youth, because I am teaching at the universities, I can understand it, that the youth wants to understand Islam, but we don't have the satisfactory replies to their queries, so that's why they
No, but
remain
this, sir, so this intersection is very beautiful. Now imagine that, I don't know, sir, because most of the time when we were growing up, Hajra, we have never ever seen somebody questioning religion. You know, we have never ever seen that. But now imagine that this youth, which have popped up, actually want to ask questions. And the best part, sir, I think, where we do blame social media, how, it's one of those menaces which actually creates this disconnect. We do see so many young people having their own podcasts, talk about religion and having a better understanding. So for anybody to ask a question about religion first was, oh, hai ki puch le aine?
Bilkul, and it was just banned. This is that such type of question, and I can just recall that in our childhood, if somebody asks any question for explanation, for understanding, he was given a fatwa of kufr. I was also victim of such fatwa. Now I am giving fatwas myself to the people. However, if you see that these liberties, and that's why I suggest that let the youth people speak out of their mind and hearts. But in the social media, even I wonder.
So there needs to be a thin line, so there needs to be a thin line of morals and ethos.
Yeah.
Exactly, these modern isms, liberalism, feminism, all of these isms, I think they are the very foreign invasive ideologies that are pervading in our society. And if you're teaching in the university, so was I could see such a staunch influence of these modern isms on the students. And I was really taken aback, where are they going? They need to be guided. How will we guide them in the face of the social media, onslaught of the social media, where so many ideologies coming, they have plenty of choices. How do we restrain that?
So this social media is a double-edged weapon. It works both ways. Sometimes it detracts the people and sometimes it puts on the right path. The problem is that the youth raise questions, but the people who are applying those questions, they are ulama or social, motivational speaker, they cannot make them satisfactory responses. That's why they go other side. So if we give them a proper guided response, I think that they would remain with the Allah Almighty.
And that's exactly what we want. So we certainly want our future generations to know about our beautiful religion that we have lived with. But sir, I do believe, now imagine that, I am a product of a joint family system where there was my grandfather, my chachus, paternal uncles and everybody. There would be a Qari Sahib coming in every single day for us to kind of have a better understanding of our religion. The entire mohalla kids will gather down and, recite the Quran together and whatnot. But now imagine, do you think that we as parents might have been failing to make sure that our future generations will have a better understanding of our religion? Because imagine that everything that I read was Quran itself, not even the translation of the Quran, not even tafsir, not even Sahih Bukhari. So we haven't read that. So I don't think that the Qaris even back then have done their job as well. Do you think that this needs to be done? This needs to be inculcated in our syllabi so that we actually understand who we are?
Yeah, there are 2 points main which can be considered. Number one, the literature available with us needs revisiting.
Thank you so much.
Particularly in the name of riwayat, ahadith, there are many books, they need to be revisited because many pollutions have been added by the latest generation for their ulterior purposes. That's why I always say that the youth is oscillating between the two extremes. One is the orthodox group. When he asks anything, that whether it is halal or haram, they say haram, haram, haram.
Absolutely.
And the other is the other extreme. When you ask them, the ultra modern NGO, they would say yes, everything is okay. Mera jism, meri marzi, mera zain, meri soch, meri cheez, meri cheez. Even they say that the parents are not your liability. You are independent. So they are distracted on the other side. And the other. So they are pendulum. Sometimes they go to that,
so how do we fix
the orthodox,
that?
and then. So balance is there. That's why Quran says, وَوَضَعَ الْمِيزَانِ, that we have kept balance in everything. So the balance is that we should see that what is the effect, what is the source of those literature and what is the effect on the younger generation, particularly. And as you said that there should be some environment. I suggest that there should be a Hyde Park of religion.
Absolutely.
Where everybody can raise the question within limits, without contemptuous. And I just take it because I just take my university students of Qaeda University as to the hill, which is just on the expressway, Khajot, that we have the TDCPS. We have a plateau, we just have a, and there is one portion in which we just raise the question.
But Dr. Aslam Khaki Sahab, I think one of the very important aspect is that I think being an educationist, being someone who is invested with the academia, you also belong to that field, the onus lies on us, right? So why haven't we not been able to give a counter-cultural response to these isms of the West, right? So liberalism, feminism, Marxism, and plenty of socialism isms, right? And for example, a lot of people say that if you remove the religious element from the Islam, so Islam is also another humanity. So you will find that Confucius is extremely popular in the West, right? Why haven't we made, let's say, the Nahjul Balagha as the book of the humanity? Why is it not considered like that? If you read it, you will be really inspired by the sayings. So is the Quran. So why do you feel that, with 57 Muslim countries, we are still unable to give that very strong counterculture to this ism of the West?
But at the same time, you see that the question which I really face is because I have gone through the atheism for 4 years. Studying Islam, study the other religion, and then coming back with a, you can say, not a liberal view, but a moderate and balanced view. So if you see that when we say anything, we don't give the reason. We only tell them that it is the command of Allah.
True.
That's why I say
and
that.
you need to respect that, right?
There are 3 levels.
The rationality element.
That but there needs to be rationality or not?
There
needs to be rationality.
Rationality we don't tell. We just tell them the hukum, but not maslihat-e hukum or hikmat-e hukum. Why Allah has made it obligatory? That's why I say, just telling that the Holy Prophet ﷺ said that is only important. The more important is in what circumstances he has told you. And the most is that what was the purpose of the Holy Prophet ﷺ in giving that command. For example, as you say that there is this miswak, some people may differ. But why did? Because at that time, miswak is the only instrument for cleaning your teeth. It was the oral, the purpose was oral hygiene. Even the non-Muslim used to make it so, but it went with the hikmah, that the hikmah is your oral cleanliness. So we have to just dig out that hikmah when we tell the things to the people. Just I tell you my own experience. I used to, and now sometimes I deliver spiritual development lecture at the PF finishing school. You know that?
I'm a student of it.
So I used to just tell them about the namaz and all these things, the hikmah with it. At the concluding day, there were parents and the teachers there at the party. One of the students, female student, took me to her parents, rather took the parents to me and said that he is the teacher by whose lecture I am just praying regularly the prayers, otherwise I could not. They just greeted me and all that. I was so ashamed to listen it because I myself was not praying like that. But why? Because I told them 17 advantages, worldly advantages, discipline, cleanliness, leadership and all that which we get from the prayer. So hikmat is the most important.
Exactly. And in addition to this, so we have a question as well, which I do believe is actually going to connect with our audiences at this point of time, because, for Professor Dr. Aslam Khaki Sahab to say to his students that you really need to pray, and then for them to pray, and then for him to realize as well. So I'm going to move on to that question as well. But first things first, I think what we really need to do is, sir, I think because you spoke about the finishing school as well, Hajra has been there. We have a kitchen corner over here, in Ramzan Pakistan Trust Mission. So I'm going to move on to them, very quickly introduce them, and let's see what they're cooking today for us.
And I think we're also catering to the women's cooking conundrum, Aaj Kya Pakao, right?
Aaj Kya
So we do have a solution to that. So what is in the making?
Exactly. First of all, we're very lucky that we've been joined by Isha, and we've been joined by Yasin Bhai from Asian Fusion all the way, alhamdulillah. And the Khawateen ka conundrum, as Hajra has actually pointed out, Aaj kya pakao? To Isha, Aaj kya pak raha hai Ramzan Pakistan mein?
All right, thank you so much, Shahzad, for introducing our little kitchen corner. And I would like to start off by saying that iftari time during Ramadan honestly feels like a very magical moment where family comes together, you're surrounded by loved ones, and then seeing the delicious food laid out.
Do you feel the same when you wake up for Sahri as well?
Yes. I like to think so. Yes, seeing the delicious food spread out in front of us actually feels like like a reward. So
Yeah.
which is why I'm so glad that we have Chef Yasin over here, who is
Yasin bhai.
blessing
Kaise aap?
our iftari table with the reward of fried chicken, crispy fingered fried chicken today. And yeah, I'm so
There
glad.
was such a debacle, you know, okay, for everybody who's actually watching us right now, you know, there was such a debacle in that WhatsApp group that we have made together for Ramzan, Pakistan. I was like, what is finger chicken or chicken finger? So I think I'm going to move to Hajra as well. Hajra, have you heard about this dish, chicken finger or finger chicken?
So I have eaten, I think every one of us has eaten that finger fish or something
Yeah.
like that. So I think that is also the alternative of that, but not with the fish, with the chicken,
Yeah.
right? But I think I would leave it to the chef
Yeah.
and
यानी कि
Isha to
अगर मच्छी
explain
नहीं
that.
है तो तुझे chicken दी finger बना दे है ना NG है चलो जी okay please go on
Yeah, definitely. And we would love for Chef Yasin to give us a live demonstration of how to put this together.
Please.
So why don't you show us?
So first of all, I think what our viewers need to see is
Yeah,
how we have the ingredients lined out over here, and we certainly have the recipe which we will share with you too as well. So please tell us, Isha, what is this in my hand?
All
This
right,
one,
so
the white
we
one?
have, so this is white flour, and then
Okay.
this is chicken cut into finger-like shapes.
Desi chicken या poultry वाला? Poultry वाला.
Yeah,
That's
and
very
then we have our breadcrumbs.
breadcrumbs,
Yeah, we
yeah.
have our breadcrumbs, and this is what makes the crispy chicken crispy, which
Wow.
gives it the delight.
I think finally we are having a fried item.
Yeah.
I'm very happy about the iftari.
And
Yeah.
to make this even healthier, I was asking Chef Yasin what is the best way to make this.
Air
He
fry.
said, he suggested frying, and I said, what if we bake this? He said no, because it will burn. So I think that's a really
Really?
good
यासीन
tip.
भाई लेकिन क्यों जल जाएगा अगर बेक करेंगे तो?
इसके ब्रेड क्रम्ब होता है वो जल जाता है
ब्रेड क्रम्ब जल जाते हैं. Okay. और एयर फ्राई हो सकता है?
एयर फ्राई हो सकता है
Air fry हो सकता है. Yeah. So
That's
so
the
the
better
healthy
solution.
alternate, ladies and gentlemen, is that you can actually air fry it as well if you have the luxury of air fryer. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on with our demonstration. And I was asking Chef Yasin about how to go about this, because as an amateur, I always think about, should I dip it in the egg first, should I dip it in the breadcrumbs later? But
So
then he
let's
told
do
me,
it.
okay, you do it, and I'll
So
see it.
let's do it. So
So first
Naseem
we-
भाई
yeah.
पहले
We
क्या
need
करना है
to
किसको किस
marinate
चीज
that.
किसको किस चीज में
Yes,
डुबाना है?
you can have marinated
white
chicken as
flour
well.
चिकन को
No, not right now. We're going to give away the recipe, but everybody needs to see first of all what we're doing with
What
the
we
chicken,
do.
and only then we'll move on
I
towards the
think
recipe.
Chef Yasin has the gloves.
Yeah,
so-
he's
so
got the
what-
gloves. Yeah. You do it, sir. Sorry. ये लगा मैं मेरा
We're
वजू है.
dipping the chicken in the flour first.
Yeah.
So remember that. And then we're going to dip it into our egg
I want
mixture.
people to see. Sorry,
Yes,
I have
please,
to
definitely.
move the bottles away. Yeah, because so that people can actually see. These bottles do not have any stickers. If there are sponsors out there, yeah, why not? Bismillah.
So first the flour, then the egg mixture, and then in our lovely breadcrumb mixture.
Wow.
It's such an easy recipe, right?
Yeah,
And it's very easy to cook, and especially for the women who are working and who have to invest themselves into the cooking. It's a very easier alternative option for them to
Wow.
cook. And a
So
very
it's ready,
favorite
and,
too, right?
it
Because
already
fried
looks
item is
like
always a hit,
finger
yeah.
chicken anyways. So it's great. So after this, what do we have to do? What about the sauce? So we've dipped it in the sauce.
Yes, this is the egg mixture.
Okay,
so
this is
we've
the egg
dipped it in
mixture.
the egg mixture, and the egg mixture is filled with sauces. And then we will just let this sit
Yeah.
aside for a few minutes, and then we'll fry this
All
up.
right. And what about this sauce? What does it constitute of?
All right, so it has a little bit of dark soy sauce,
Okay.
it has a little bit of chili oil, and then it has a little bit of vinegar for some kick.
Wow.
And we will add our egg in last. And you can also spice this up with some paprika, with some smoked cayenne pepper, and some
Wow.
oregano.
Wonderful. So it's time now for us to kind of take a good look at the recipe as well. You guys please get started with the Aaj Kya Pakaun conundrum, as Hajra has
Cooking
pointed it out as
conundrum,
well.
yeah.
So I'm just going to go and read the recipe card as well. So please, can we have the recipe on our screens? Okay, the recipe, ladies and gentlemen, is here. And the recipe of the finger chicken says that the chicken strips need to be 200 grams, egg 1, milk 50 ml. Isha forgot about milk. Breadcrumbs 20 grams, salt 5 grams, pepper 5 grams, lemon 5 milliliter, and chili sauce.
And I think
10
lemon will
milliliter.
add an tanginess to that, and that will be very tasty, because I myself am a really fan of lemon. I think whether it is a limu pani, lemon water, shikanji, whatever. So I do feel that lemon really helps in the digestion and the gut health. So incorporation of the lemon into your diet is a must for us. And I think in Pakistan we are blessed with this very healthy, fertile ground where we can always get very fresh farm organic produce from the market. And I think this is a luxury that many people who are living in the Middle East or maybe in the West, they're deprived of that, because they are buying it from the very, these stores. And
yes.
there is another organic industry, and I don't think so there's anything organic in that, but it's just, the marketing way, right?
And Hajra, I actually got a chance to actually visit one of these organic stores where there was these rice ice creams and whatnot, and the organic market is actually more expensive than the general market. So what, so the best solution for me was, because I was like, okay, can I trust, all of these fruit vendors and vegetable
Are you conscious about organic consumption?
I mean, I am obviously, which is why, so I had, laid out a kitchen garden, and I'm going to try tomorrow, inshallah, in my iftar transmission, that I make sure that I take you to my kitchen garden, probably make a video of what we are doing over there.
That would be a very interactive sort of event. And yes. And I think our mothers also Nani Dadiyan are also very invested with this kitchen garden, because you will find that gamla or the pots in which they might have, planted some sort of green vegetables or shimla mirch and tomato, and we all had that. And I think this is the beauty of Pakistan's soil, that even if you put a, seed in it, after some time you will find that without doing any effort, you will find some very interesting
which is why my mother always tells me कि अगर बेटे ये अंदाजा लगाना हो कि महंगाई हो गई है, so just make sure that that earlier when we used to go to get vegetables, धनिया पुदीना साथ free मिलता था, but we actually have to pay for it now. But at this point of time, what we're going to do is that we're going to go back to Qari Sahab, and Qari Sahab, we're going to request you to please recite another surah from Quran.
Yes, why not? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. هو الله الذي لا عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر. سبحان الله عما يشركون. هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. صدق الله العلي العظيم.
شالا وسدا روے تیرا سونا حرم تیرا سونا حرم اے شفیع امم للہ کر دو کرم شالا وسدا روے تیرا سونا حرم تیرا سونا حرم تیری یادوں سے معمور سینہ رہے تیری یادوں سے معمور سینہ رہے سامنے میرے ہے دم مدینہ رہے سامنے میرے ہے دم مدینہ رہے در پہ بیٹھا رہوں لے کے میں چشم نم در پہ بیٹھا رہوں لے کے میں چشم نم شالا وسدا روے تیرا سونا حرم تیرا سونا حرم یا نبی اپنی الفت کی سوغات دے یا نبی اپنی الفت کی سوغات دے اپنے شایان نشان ہم کو سوغات دے اپنے شایان نشان ہم کو سوغات دے اس سے مطلب نہیں کہ سوا ہو یا کم اس سے مطلب نہیں کہ سوا ہو یا کم شالا وسدا روے تیرا سونا حرم تیرا سونا حرم چھوڑ کر تیرا در کیوں پھروں در بدر چھوڑ کر تیرا در کیوں پھروں در بدر ہاں تیرے در سے اچھا نہیں کوئی گر ہو تمہیں میرا دین اور میرا برم شالا وسدا روے تیرا سونا حرم تیرا سونا حرم میرے ہاتھوں میں کاسا ہے امید کا ہوں بیکاری شاہ میں تیری دید کا میں گدائے حرم تو نبی محتشم میں گدائے حرم تو نبی محتشم شالا وسدا روے تیرا سونا حرم تیرا سونا حرم.
Thank you so much, and for everybody who's tuned in, welcome back to Ramazan, Pakistan. Ji Hajra.
Yeah, this is such a beautiful redemption of the spirituality, and I think I would like to pose one last question before we wrap up this segment. So, Aslam KHAKI Saab, there's a very beautiful book called The Road to Makkah. It is written by Muhammad Asad, and he was a Jewish revert to Islam. And he said that if Holy Prophet Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would have preached to the Quraysh and he would have just slaughtered the idols, so they might not have resisted that much. But he said that no, your entire social order needs to change because you are prevailing in the times of Jahiliyyah. You bury your daughters alive, you're going for the blood revenge, you are using the usury, which is all wrong, which is not the prophetic way, which is not the divine way. So do you believe that as a Muslims, you know, we have again gone back to the crutches of the Jahiliyyah period 2.0?
Yeah, sure. Because we see that Islam came to change the society, not to change only the rituals.
True.
As we say that they are ritual. And as I have also written one article in which I said that if you see or if you just go into the study of the history of the mankind or divine history, you will never see that Allah just ruined or just ruined the people or some ummah or some nation because they were not offering their prayers or not fasting or not. That was an instrument of. But they were ruined and they were just damaged due to their evils, that they were just having the distortion of the Hukukul Ibad, not Hukukullah only, though both are interconnected. So that is why in this in that book it is just written. So the main cause of the opposition of the Quraysh was that he challenged their monarchy, he challenged their habits of the, you can say, as you said, that they used to bury their children, female infanticide, they challenge their usury practices, which are damaging to the mankind, their conduct, their livelihood, their all that. Even you see that their monopoly and all these challenges.
Right.
So in this time, we also see that the people are there like that, that they are damaging the society through the violation of the rights of the people, not only the rights of the Allah Almighty. So we should also address such points in our preaching when we preach, not only for the prayer, rather we should preach them that, yeah, this demands it so. As you say that, you see that this even the Ramadan or the Psalm means Sama Yasuma means to retention, to abstention. You have to block yourself from the evils and from the other things.
Exactly, and this certainly, sir, wraps it up beautifully as well. And you know, for everybody who's out there, you know, we do see how in Hajra today's world, where people are using excess power, making sure that they make their way no matter what, whether it's violation of the human rights or whether it's violation of the ahkamat of Allah Almighty as well. And very quickly, I think with this anecdote, I would want to move on towards that quiz that we actually have to offer, and gift hampers that we are giving away to people as well. So imagine every day we're asking you a question. If you answer the question right and send the answer in our email, ladies and gentlemen, you will be given a gift hamper on behalf of Reborn Viva and Asian Fusion. We have Saima Group as our sponsors. We're thankful to them, you know, for this entire Ramadan Pakistan transmission. Yesterday, the question that we asked, first of all, was which surah mentions the command to fast during Ramadan? And we gave you 4 options. A was Surah Al-Baqarah, B was Surah Al-Araf, C was Surah Al-Tawbah, D was Surah Al-Fatiha. And the correct answer, ladies and gentlemen, was Surah Al-Baqarah. And the correct answer was actually given to us from Rawalpindi. And the gentleman's name is Muhammad Asad Ikram. So Ikram Sahab, congratulations to you for winning a gift hamper, that too in Ramadan, Pakistan. But we have another question today which needs to be asked from people and our audiences who are out there. So if you are out there, please make sure that you write the question so that you do not forget. You have to write the answer at our email address, which is ramadanpakistan@ptv.com.pk. The question will be on your screens in next 5 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Here's the question. Yes. How many times does the Quran mention fasting? How many times does the Quran mention fasting? All right, so which verse in the Quran, the question which I have is different from the question which is on your television screens. Which verse in the Quran instructs Muslim to fast during Ramadan? That's the question that we asked yesterday.
I think we have the options Surah Baqarah, Surah Al-Alaq, Surah Fatiha and Surah Al-Imran. So make sure that you write back to us. For the viewers who have joined just in, I'm once again repeating the question. Which verses in the Quran instructs Muslims to fast during Ramadan? Surah Baqarah, option B, Surah Al-Alaq, option C is Surah Fatiha, and option D is Surah Al-Imran. And make sure that you write back to us, and we will announce the winner tomorrow, inshallah ta'ala. And with that, we also feel that your participation, your engagement is coming to us, and we really feel a happiness. And make sure that you participate in your program, because we are doing it all for you. We're making sure that you also include in our voyage of spirituality, in our voyage of sacredness and the holiness that this month of Ramazan bring. But thank you so much, Aslam Khaki Saab, for being with us, for shedding the light on some very important topic and telling us how to navigate being a Muslim in this particular modern digital century, because I do feel that it's very difficult, where the dominant ideologies are very invasive, very foreign and very far away to our fitrah.
So please make sure that you keep your participation at par with the way that we have been putting in our effort with Ramazan Pakistan. Make sure that you give us the right answer. The email address is ramazanpakistan@ptv.com.pk. With that, we're actually heading out towards a short break. Once you will come back, we have newer guests over here, and the topic of discussion is quite interesting as well.
Absolutely.
And it's about modern day, it's about modern life and how we really need to have that balance. So very quickly, I'm going to actually request Mr. Sohail Madni Saab to actually recite a Naat, and with that, we'll actually move on towards our wonderful break that we all need, probably, for 5 minutes while you're fasting as well.
Absolutely, because we are also very engaged with the aroma which is emanating from our kitchen corner, and I think the finger chicken.
Let's go and let's check them out as well.
Yeah, they are exuding certain sort of aroma, the fragrance. It's very enticing, and we are really excited for the iftar, because once again, as I say, that for me, fried item is a must. Although my very worthy co-anchor always discouraged me from, eating unhealthy habits. But I don't know, for me, it's very difficult.
Yeah, meanwhile, we're managing all of this. I'm going to request Madni Saab to please, come at your position. That'll be wonderful. Yes, so I think, what have we done now?
All right, so we have breaded our chicken, and one batch is ready to be fried. It's sent and it's being fried, and we can already smell the aroma on set.
Yeah.
It smells wonderful.
Where are we frying it?
All right, we are frying it at the back.
Sorry to ask this question, but yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, and then Chef Yasin is just finishing up with some garnishing. And what I would like to add is that I feel like no crispy chicken is complete without a dip, right? So Chef Yasin has been so kind, and he has made this wonderful honey mustard dip. Yeah, and I feel like it has a bit of tanginess, which kicks off which balances with the oily flavor of the
I think
chicken.
it's always a very amazing sauce, and people who want to go there, please go there. I think Shahzad can smell the aroma, enticing aroma that is coming from this dip.
If you how this dip actually looks like. This dip actually looks like, when you go to this wonderful place where you order peri bites, and then you have a dip sauce as well. So obviously, I don't know. I think at this point of time, everything looks like as if it's going to be so tasty. Yeah, please continue.
Exactly, and And I feel like since we have a variety of different sauces, we have tomato-based sauces, we have garlicky cream-based sauces, we would actually like to ask our viewers, what is your favorite sauce to pair with your favorite fried chicken? Since we're broadcasting over 42 countries, we would love to know what your recipes are.
So we'll come back to this as well.
Yeah, I think we will come back to this, but thank you so much, Isha, for highlighting such important sauces, and I think they always bring some diversity, some flavor to your culinary world. But we will request our Naatwan to recite a Naat for us and bring the essence of spirituality back to us. And after a short break, we will come back, and then we will have a very interesting segment. So please don't go anywhere. Ji, so
inshallah. Madni Saab.
सब्ज़ गुंबद वाले मंजूर दुआ करना जब वक्त नज़ाए दीदार अता करना मैं कब्र अंधेरी में घबराऊंगा जब तन्हा इमदाद मेरी करने आ जाना रसूल अल्लाह मैं قبر اندھیری میں گھبراؤں گا جب تنہا امداد میری کرنے آ جانا رسول اللہ امداد میری کرنے آ جانا رسول اللہ روشن میری تربت کو للہ ذرا کرنا جب وقت نظائے دیدار عطا کرنا مجرم ہوں جہاں بری کا محشر میں برم رکھنا رسوائے زمانہ ہوں دامن میں چھپا لینا مجرم ہوں جہاں برکا محشر میں برم رکھنا رسوائے زمانہ ہوں دامن میں چھپا لینا منظور دعا میری مقبول خدا کرنا منظور دعا میری مقبول خدا کرنا جب وقت نظائے دیدار عطا کرنا اے سبز گنبد والے منظور دعا کرنا جب وقت نظائے دیدار عطا کرنا
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Thank you so much for staying tuned. You're watching Ramadan Pakistan,
Ramadan
a dedicated
Pakistan.
transmission on PTV World.
Absolutely.
It's a fresh news segment now. But before we move on towards our segment, and before we introduce our amazing guests over here inside the studios on our iftar transmission, we have a short commercial break. For everybody who's out there, we really do thank our sponsors who've been contributing towards our iftar transmission. And after Allah and after all of our efforts from the entire team of PTV World, it's the sponsors. So let's go ahead, let's take a good look at this very commercial. And when you come back, we'll introduce our worthy guests over here at Ramadan Pakistan.
Welcome back, Jay, and before going on to the break, Shahzad alluded to the sort of fun conversation that we are going to develop. But without further ado, I would like to introduce my worthy guest. We have been joined by a very esteemed author who's always been a regular to our morning show program. He happens to be Sabahuddin Saab. Assalamu alaikum, sir. Ramazan Mubarak to you and welcome to Ramadan Pakistan.
Ramazan Mubarak to you, Hajra and Shahzad. It's a pleasure.
How does it feel to be on Ramadan Pakistan, sir? MashaAllah.
How is your fast food?
It's always a pleasure for me to be with you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
sir,
so much.
likewise.
I think these are the words of the appreciation that we really take to our heart. But now we've also been joined by two amazing young chaps, buddies, and I would say the angels that who have graced our studio. And without any further ado, we are very glad that we have been joined by the first grader. He happens to be Muhammad Hassan Ali. Assalamu alaikum, Hassan, and thank you so much for coming to Ramazan Mubarak to you.
Ramzan Mubarak to you.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful. And joining Hassan is his sister. She happens to be Amna. Ali, assalamu alaikum Amna, and Ramazan Mubarak to you.
Assalamu alaikum and Ramazan Mubarak to you.
Khair
too.
Mubarak, Khair
Khair
Mubarak. Thank
Mubarak.
you so much, for joining us. You're lighting up our day, you're lighting up our moods, and thank you so much for joining us. But very quickly, Hassan, I'm going to get my conversation started with you. There's so many people out there watching you in 46 different countries. What do you want to say? What do you want to share about Ramadan? What do you love the most about Ramadan?
Eating food.
What do you like
That's
about
good.
it,
Mashallah.
Aftari?
Aftari, we can eat dahi bale.
Yeah, and?
Which is your favorite?
I like dahi bale the most.
You like dahi bale the most.
Amna.
And what about pakoras?
Aloo ke pakora.
Aloo ke pakode you like, okay. And what about palak ke pakode? Do you like palak ke pakode?
No.
Pyaz ke pakode?
Pyaz ke pakora, yes.
Yeah, pyaz ke pakode, yes. With a bit of ketchup as well? Or too much
No,
of ketchup?
I don't like
You don't like ketchup. Even on dahi bale at times, if you
Mayonnaise.
put in ketchup, it tastes very yummy. Do you know that?
I don't like ketchup. It's not healthy for a health.
Oh, that's very interesting. And what about Amna? Amna, do you like pakoras?
Yes.
And chips? What do you eat in your Aftari?
I like crumble.
You like crumble? Cookies?
Sometimes
They are not our sponsors, so we cannot take their name also. Okay. Even though I like crumble too.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Amna was
sorry,
saying
Amna.
something.
Sometimes I like the samosa and rolls.
Yeah.
Right.
And sometimes the fruit chaat.
Wow.
And what does Amna want to be when she grows up?
Army doctor.
Why
Wow.
army doctor?
Because I want the armies to be healthy so they can defeat the bad people.
Wow. Is jazbe ki qadar hum karte hain, alhamdulillah. Hassan, what about you? What do you want to be when you grow up?
A normal doctor.
What do you mean by
That's
no?
practice.
Just practice, not be with the army, but, be a doctor because your sister will be helping the armed forces and you will be helping us, right?
I'll do plastic surgery.
You'll do plastic surgery. Inshallah, may all your dreams come true. And we
Why do
send
you want to do the plastic surgeries? Plastic surgery kya hota hai, Shahzad?
Plastic surgery is more of a reconstruction surgery.
But I think Hassan will
Yeah.
explain it.
Yeah.
Hassan, what is plastic surgery?
When people broke their arms, we can replace plastic arms.
Yeah, prosthetics. Yeah, well, that's wonderful. It's such a wonderful conversation that we are having. And Amnapi, what about you? You were about to say something, right?
But right now the question you just asked, you just said that before.
Yeah, I know.
And you're asking it again, so why?
Critics are very good critics, right? And
Yeah.
a very healthy criticism.
Alhamdulillah. I think it's beautiful. So both of you want to be doctors. It's great. And while we are talking about Ramadan over here, how do you pray to Allah? I want you to share your story with all the other kids. How do you pray to Allah? How do you seek forgiveness from Allah? Well, your children, you probably might not even need forgiveness. It's for us. Please go ahead. How do you pray to Allah Almighty? Whatever you want in life, how do you ask Allah, Allah, please, mujhe ye de de, please. What do you ask for? Okay. And what do you do?
Pray.
Pray?
In a mosque.
In a mosque, yes. And what do you say? What are your words that you use to Allah, please, mujhe gadi
Allah,
de de?
please, mujhe gari de de, Ameen.
Okay. And Amna, can I ask you the same question now? Okay. No. Amna is not willing to answer the same question, which obviously is great.
She's not confident.
Oh no, she's
No,
very
she's very
confident.
confident.
Hassan.
Yeah. Hassan
She's
starts-
confident,
very
but she
confident.
does not want to talk. है ना? Amna will talk when she wants.
Sometimes Hassan says these things because I just don't feel to do them.
Oh, she's nice and she knows how to regulate herself. But we will
Mashallah.
develop this conversation with two very interesting kids. But Sabahuddin Saab, over to you. It's Ramazan. We do feel the sacredness, the spirituality, the sanctity of this month. And we also see, like we were discussing before in our show, that nowadays we are faced with so much cacophony of this world. There's so much noise and distraction, and especially with the social media. How do you think in this month of Ramazan we can think and reflect back and detach ourselves from all of this cacophony of the world?
Because imagine that we have these amazing children over here, so their social and spiritual development certainly is something which we really want people to kind of be more aware about. Please go ahead, take us through.
Thank you very much. It's a very wonderful question. I think Ramazan is less of physical and more of spiritual.
Okay.
If you continue to count the days between the time between the dawn and the dusk, and you take it as a limitation by the divine, that you have been stopped by certain things, certain pleasures of life, including the food and drink. And if you take it as a limitation and restriction on you, this surely becomes a physical activity, a physical test of endurance to you. But if you understand that you are closing your mouth but opening your consciousness to it, you are becoming more aware of it. And actually food and drink and other material pleasures, they are a distraction in this life.
True.
So in this time when we are jumping from one excitement to another, we are looking for one activity to another, you know, with our attention span reducing, this affords us time to look inwards.
But Sabahuddin Sahab, I think you mentioned a very important point, and that is one of the very essential Islamic pillar, which is the tarbiyah, right? How you groom up your kids. And I think when we were growing up, one of the very essential element of tarbiyah was storytelling, right? But now I think these kids, they are deprived from that very essential, I would say, wise medium of the storytelling. We would sit with our nana dadas, with our dadi dadas, and we would play physical games. They would tell us very wisdom-laden stories. Now it's all social media, including us, including our grandparents, they're all glued to the screen. So I think that essential element of tarbiyah through storytelling is missing. How can we reincorporate back?
I think nothing can be a better training ground than Ramazan, particularly for the young people, both boys and girls. Over the period of time, Ramazan has become like this: my focus on my prayers, my focus on my ritual, my focus on my fasting. It should have been the focus on the people around you.
True.
Opening your heart to the other people.
True.
It's not only understanding that your stomach is hungry and you are realizing your own suffering. It is to understand the underprivileged people who are already having this every day and who do not have that advantage or the benefit that they eat food every day. So this is not about being self-centered. It is about being outreaching, feeling people around you,
and basically being open for help. You know that anybody could easily approach you. But sir, now there's one more realization which just came to me, and I'm so thankful to Allah Almighty that this is actually happening.
Right.
Now imagine, while today when I went back home and I was just by myself and I wanted to give myself some time, there was this realization where how nafs is more of an animal. Now imagine, unfortunately, for the things that we do in our daily routine and for what we depend. Why is it that, you know, when we do know that, you know, fasting is obligatory for us, and that we really need to make sure that we seek forgiveness and pardon from Allah Almighty, that we can control that nafs now. Now psychologically, I can do that. Now psychologically, I can fast. Now psychologically, I won't abuse. Psychologically, I won't bribe someone. Psychologically, I won't do anything wrong because I do know that it's the month of Ramadan.
True.
Why is it that we cannot continue this practice the next 11 months? I think that's where the question is. Why? How do you think that we let loose this wild animal of nafs and it can do whatever it wants?
Very relevant. You see, the fasting has been like imposed on us by the divine.
Alhamdulillah.
And it is not the first time that this ummah is experiencing or this is performing this ritual. It has been on the other religions. Fasting is common in all the religions, monotheistic or maybe the polytheistic religions.
Absolutely.
So because this has been identified as the only training to control your own desires.
And that's why I think Allah gave us Ramadan anyways.
And I think one of the essential part of the Ramadan is also that it allows us to confront the gluttony and the consumerism, right? So there's this desire to go after every unrestrained thing. This is where Allah Ta'ala puts us restraints, right? We have to abstain from eating, drinking, any type of it from, you know, dawn till the dusk. But Sabahuddin Sahab, I think being a Muslim in this 21st century is something very challenging, and we have to navigate through the myriad of the challenge. How do you think we can do that, and especially for a younger people, audiences, millennials, Gen Z, you know, Gen Beta, who are just, you know, came to this world? How do you think that we can pave a way for them for a better and a prosperous Pakistan?
I think when we talk about Ramazan, we are, I think, more focused on the food. As you know, Hassan just highlighted, he likes the food in Ramazan.
He likes the
We all do that.
Yeah.
Just realize that there are certain don'ts imposed by the divine, by Almighty Allah. And there are certain permissible things that Allah has allowed us to do. But in the month of Ramazan, even those permissible things are denied to you.
True.
And those permissible things you cannot do between certain times. You know, this is just to restrain you. A hungry stomach actually opens the doors of awareness to you. It allows you to concentrate yourself from all the distractions, including the food, on few questions. That is, why we are here, how we can benefit the people around us, how I can be useful to my family, to my kins, to my society, and to my country, and to all the humanity. Why and how and what should I be doing in the years ahead to become beneficial to the people and mankind. This is more about giving, you know. But we have become more self-centered. I am more focused on my religion, more focused on the sawab, more focused on the hunger and the food that I get.
And so this debate is going to get longer now, and there's a reason why we have come to this point. The reason being is that now for anybody to be as religious as they want to be, obviously in my perspective, I'm like, you know, कि मैंने तो अपना जवाब अल्लाह को देना, you know, so I'm answerable to Allah Almighty, and everybody's going to answer for themselves. But it's going to be a longer debate. There's this one thing which actually came to me on my WhatsApp today by a friend of mine, because he never treats us anywhere, so I'm not going to name it. But he said that, you know, that खाने के चक्कर में, you know, क्योंकि आपको कल फिर भूख लग जानी है, अपनी इज्जत को मजरूह मत करें किसी दोस्त को ये कहते हुए कि यार आज खाना खिला दे, because tomorrow you'll be hungry again. So I think that point actually kind of fits in over here, where Sabah Sahib is saying that you, rather than food, rather than doing कि मैं समोसा खा लूं, पकौड़ा खा लूं, think about bigger things. Think about how you can help people, how you can save somebody's livelihood.
I think we're always vulnerable to the attacks of the Lucifer or the Shaitan. But I have a question for Hassan. Hassan, so what is that one thing that grown-ups always say, your mama baba always say?
क्या कहते हैं मामा बाबा रोज आपको क्या कहते हैं?
रोजा रख लो.
रोजा रख लो. फिर आप रखते हो फिर या नहीं रखते हो?
मैं next year रखूंगा.
Next year.
And what is that one rule that you would want everyone to follow? The one rule if you have to make it, वो क्या होगा? एक रूल आपने बनाना है जो हर एक ने फॉलो करना है.
जो आप कहोगे अम्मा और अब्बा भी यही करेंगे, वो क्या रूल होगा? रोज पिज्जा खाएंगे?
मुझे आईफोन लेके देंगे.
I think that's great. जरा आमना आपी से भी पूछते हैं. आमना आपी मैं सेम सवाल नहीं आपसे पूछता हूँ. आप मुझे एक ऐसी बात बताओ जो आप चाहती हो कि आपके अम्मा अब्बा रोज करें, आपकी अम्मी भी और आपके अब्बू भी वो रोज करें वो काम. वो कौन सा ऐसा काम है?
Just not to do any bad things all
Just
the
not to do
time.
any bad things. They are here. Please don't do any bad thing, please. You know, the parents are here, and it's great. अब हम, you know, चूंकि रमजान का महीना है, हम इबादत करते हैं, हम अल्लाह से
किसी को तंग भी नहीं करते.
हाँ, किसी को तंग भी नहीं करते. तो आमना भी हसन आपको तंग करता है? नहीं करता. और आमना भी हसन को तंग करती हैं?
थोड़ी सी करती है. नहीं करती.
नहीं करते. हम ऐसे ही सिर्फ गपशप कर रहे हैं, कोई मसले की बात नहीं है. बहन भाई आपस में सबको तंग करते हैं. बट कोई ऐसी चीज हसन और आमना आपने अब बतानी है, जितने भी लोग जो हमें देख रहे हैं, कि बच्चे अब रमजान में सब क्या करें? आईपैड तो नहीं देख सकते, अब रोजे हैं, इबादत भी करनी है, फिर अफ्तारी भी है.
बड़े भी देखते हैं फोन.
बड़ों को मना करना चाहिए, है ना? बड़ों को मना करो जरा, कि जो बड़े देखते हैं फिर छोटों को मत मना किया करें.
जरा
इधर कैमरे में देख के बोल रहा हूं, कैमरे में.
मामा बाबा बड़े भी फोन देखते हैं.
ठीक है, उनको बोलो कि अगर मामा बाबा यूज करेंगे फिर बच्चे भी कर सकते हैं. बोलो जरा सबको.
अगर मामा बाबा फोन देखते हैं फिर बच्चों ने भी नहीं करना.
बच्चों ने भी देखना.
बट हसन, अगर आप फ्लाई कर सकते हो तो आप कहाँ पे जाओगे? If you want to fly, where will you go?
Yeah, if you can fly, if you have
Japan.
Japan?
Why?
Okay, well, that's wonderful. Why? Why would you go to Japan?
Because over there is a subway train station.
Yeah, there is.
He's a
Wonderful.
very
And
mechanical
Amna
mind.
you know, who makes iftari at home?
Sometimes my papa and mother, they both work together.
Wow, that's wonderful. Do you help them?
And sometimes my father makes iftar.
Wow, I think that's setting a great example as well. But Amna Api and Hassan Bhai, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
It's wonderful to have you over here. And you know, these two children today are certainly an example of how we really need to kind of focus as parents towards their social and spiritual development. And you know, they've set the tone right, where they know the basics of our religion as well.
Right.
Alhamdulillah, we hope and pray that all your dreams come true for all of those children who are watching us, and may you grow up to be a doctor, and may you grow up to be an armed forces doctor. Okay?
Okay.
Wonderful. So thank you so much for joining us. Wonderful to have you guys over here. If you guys want to walk, you can walk out if you feel like. Do you want to walk out to your parents now? Or do you want any help? Or do you want us to take a break? What do you want?
Walk out to
Walk out. Okay, then hold your mics and then you can go to your parents and you can wave to everybody as well. Bye or something of that sort. Yeah. Exactly. That's what Hassan bhai, you have to hold your mic as well. Yeah, just hold them. It's okay, it's okay. And thank you to their parents as well. Thank you so much for bringing them to Ramzan, Pakistan. They're great children. And we loved everything about them as well. Wow, beautiful.
Right, and I think this is a wonderful Ramzan transmission, and I think kids always bring a sense of innocence to your program, to your show, and to your life generally, and that makes you also connected to your inner child that we all harbor in our lives. But I think whenever we talk about Aaj Kya Pakao and cooking conundrum, right, so we have resolved the cooking conundrum for today because we are making that fried chicken, finger chicken, I would like to say, right? So on the concluding remarks, I think the chicken has fried and the aroma and the fragrance is very, very enticing. It is coming from that. Thank you so much, Isha. Thank you so much.
Let's go over there and let's look at the final product. What we have as finger chicken, you know, wrapped in oranges with a dip sauce.
Yes.
Right, so here's the final product.
Yes,
wow.
Our delicious
I think there's some
meal
decoration also, right?
Yes, it's been garnished.
Let's do it the other way.
oranges
Yeah,
like
this like this. It's okay. A bit of orange actually fell down, but that's
it's
not
all right.
a problem.
I think the chicken is more highlighted now.
yeah, it's all right. But we need vitamin C as well because the weather's still changing.
It looks so good. Like, I feel like everyone needs to look at this color.
Yeah.
Like,
when I was about to touch the chicken, you told me that you're not even wearing gloves. And look at you, wow.
It was raw chicken.
I think they need to look at it like this because there's more aesthetic to it this way.
Exactly.
Imagine if it's on your iftar table. Oh my God, I so feel like eating it right
it smells so divine.
I mean, this is that moment where I'm becoming vulnerable. I just want to have it now. But
yeah, and since we cannot break our fast, I think we will wait patiently and break into a smile and
So because Ramzan tell us about the garnishing, the final touches that you added. So you have used actually the oranges, which are fresh fruit in the market, right?
Exactly.
And what exactly are the other ingredients?
Oh, all right. So we have some lettuce. Obviously, we need some fiber with this chicken, and then we have these lovely oranges, which are in season. And I feel like they add a really nice kick and a zesty note to the oily fried chicken.
Exactly. I
feel like he deserves a round of applause for all the dishes, all the recipes that he's come up with, so definitely. And then lastly, we have our yummy aromatic honey mustard sauce. And and it's actually my favorite sauce. This was not planned, so a big thanks to you for bringing this specific sauce with this chicken.
But thank you, Yasin bhai. Thank you so much, Isha. Thank you so much, Asian Fusion, and you know, for everybody who's actually kind of contributed. And this chicken cannot move until we wrap up, you know, our iftar transmission. So let me just go back to Sabahuddin Sab now.
Right, and I think that always the selection of the sauces is very, very much important because not everyone is up for the ketchup, like Hassan said, you know, who just left our set. But I think the honey mustard sauce is one of the sauce that always bring flavors to it, flavor to it, and a diversity to our culinary collection. But thank you so much once again, our kitchen corner, and Sabahuddin Saab, thank you so much once again for being on our show and for highlighting the importance and how to navigate being a Muslim in the modern 21st century. And with the days to come, we will contemplate on these topics. Inshallah. And what does that mean to live as a Muslim in this world, and not just the Western world. I would like to say the kind of the environment that is brewing up. I think it's very, very essential that we reconnect back to our roots, to the prophetic tradition, to prophetic era, because that is the zenith of the progressivism, because that was directly coming from the divine sources. So with that, we will wrap up our segment. Until next time, it's a goodbye. Allah Hafiz, Ramazan Mubarak, and Ramazan Pakistan.
Ramazan Pakistan. Thank you so much, everybody. Look after yourselves. Have a great iftari and back home. Sabah Saab, thank you so much, sir. Jazakallah, very kind of you. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much. Ramzan Pakistan.